Well, good morning. Welcome back to the channel. It's been a little while and I'll explain why very briefly. But as you can probably see behind me and in the little bits of footage I've put up already, I'm in a very special place today. I've taken some time off and I've come up to the Lake District. I'm currently in Upper Borrowdale and with a view to taking photographs. I haven't taken any photographs since back in January, and the reasons in simple terms are I've been a bit unwell myself with a lot of pain in my joints, which has actually made it less than perfect getting out. And also my wife Sarah has had, it's cold out here this morning, it's making my eyes water. Yeah, she's had a knee operation which was scheduled for January, so a lot of things went on hold, and then due to various COVID related things that didn't happen, and it happened at the beginning of March, which was just over a month ago. Now it's at the beginning of April, and that's all gone well and that's all nicely progressing, and Sarah's able to walk pretty well actually. I'm really impressed with the progress, but it's meant that I can now get back to things. And layer on top of that the fact that I'm working for the same company, but I've taken on a much more senior role there. Senior, that's almost a joke, but yes, I'm now quite responsible for a lot of the development work that our company does in terms of software, and that's been a challenge and takes quite a bit of my time up in meetings and helping the other developers that work in the company. So that's enough of an excuse, so let's get on to the photography. So as you can see behind me over this shoulder, here with the car, and as you can see on the back of the car I've got my electric mountain bike, which I'm hoping to press some good service here while I'm in the Lake District. It's Monday morning, I think it's the 11th of April today, and it's a really nice cloudy with a little bit of light poking through. I'll spin you around and let you just look at the sort of surroundings. It's about 6:30. The tops of the mountains in the distance over in that direction towards Keswick, I think, yes, Keswick at the other end of Borrowdale have got, I think that might even be cat bells, I'm not sure, but it's got a dusting of snow on, which was here on mountains last night, so it's not new. When I drove up I noticed it and thought that's quite a nice bit of interesting information. So I'm actually next to this tiny little stream that runs down, as you've seen in the footage, just to my right here, and there's some beautiful trees here, there really are, plus there's a couple of little waterfalls. So I've just tucked the car off the road just there, just out of the way. I haven't taken up a passing place, it's actually a little area people can pull in. So I'm going to get the camera gear out and just walk back down the hill behind you guys, where I passed a really nice but only small waterfall. I'm hoping there might be something there. So come with me, and welcome back to the channel again, and apologies for the delays, but I think you'll understand there's been quite a lot going on, so I haven't had a lot of choice in the matter. So let's get some photographs. Well, as you can see just there is a nice little set of mini waterfalls. I'm not really sure what the definition of a waterfall is. To my eyes, it's any water that goes over rocks enough that it's actually at some point falling, rather than just going rapidly through rocks, hence rapids. So I think that constitutes a waterfall in my book. I think technically, when I was in Iceland, I read a description that waterfalls are not actually waterfalls unless the water falls more than a certain distance. And I think that was quite a large distance. I think it was something like 50 feet or something. So they're not, in Icelandic terms, or possibly general definition terms, waterfalls, but as far as I'm concerned they are. And as a result, they make very nice pictures. So I'm hoping to get something, as I'm walking down here just carefully positioning myself, I quite like something like this framing here. Just put the bag down. It's got this two little falls of water there, and we've got this old gnarly tree coming up, and this one branch, it's coming right in and quite close to me, but it's framing that little area quite nicely, and I'm hoping to sort of get a shot pretty much like that. So let me get the tripod out and let me get the camera set up, and let's see what we can get from here. I think it's fair to say the other thing I should mention is that my knees are in no way very good at the moment. I can use the mountain bike quite well, but in terms of walking down awkward, slippery and or needing a lot of knee movement, sort of climbing, I can't do it easily without risking falling. So a lot of places I would like to go to, and at the moment I'd like to go down, walk down there, but I'm afraid if I did that I'd actually come to a cropper, so I'm not going to do that. I've got the camera on the tripod here, and I'm literally right at the edge of the road, so I'm having to keep an eye out for cars, but it is only sort of 6:45 in the morning, and I'm not sure about what I was thinking I would take, and I don't know if you can see it. Let's get the back of the camera with no reflections on it. So the shot I've got here is the two little waterfalls, or one, I call it two, it's good enough. Two little waterfalls here in the sort of third up and third to the right, starting from the third to the right. And I've then got this large tree in the foreground which is there. And I've got this one branch coming off here, and I'm not sure if this one branch is adding a distraction or not. Personally, I'm in mixed minds, so let me know in the section below, but I think it's framing the waterfall. We've got this nice diagonal action going on here. We've got the waterfall starting up here in the top right, upper right if not top, and dropping down and coming down here, and a little bit of waterfall action in the bottom corner here. And we've got this tree and the branch framing it, and both sides of the gorge here framing the waterfall. So I think that works. I'm going to take that shot. Now, I'm at f16 because there's a lot of depth of field needed here, because this branch is literally just in front of me, and now the wind's started to get up, so that branch is moving a lot. That's come from nowhere, absolutely nowhere. You can see on the back of the camera there that that is really waving around quite a lot, so my half a second is out of the window. Oh blimey, there's suddenly a gust. You see how much movement there is there. That was absolutely still a fraction of a second ago. It must be the sun coming up, must have just caused some wind to move around the area. Although it's bizarre, it's just happened literally while I've been talking to you. And is it dying down? Not as quickly as I'd hoped for. So I might have to take a couple of shots and focus blend them so I can get a bigger depth of field. Now things are slowing down, so let me get the shot now. I've got a I've got a 10-second timer on. But it's a half a second at f16, and hopefully the wind will play a tiny bit of movement in that branch. Half a second might be enough to capture that, so I'm going to actually take the aperture much wider and focus on the branch on the tree, and that's a 30th of a second. Oh, I'll have to take that 10-second timer off because the wind started to come back. Oh, the things that are sent to challenge us. Right, 10-second timer reduced to 2 seconds. It'll give me a better chance. So waiting again for the wind to die back a bit. And it's doing completely the opposite. At a 30th of a second, I really need those branches to be quite still. I'm at f4, so the background will be out of focus. If I can get this branch and the tree trunk, the wind stopped, right, give that a go now. Okay, so I've got that, and I'm actually going to do an f4 shot and focus stack the background as well. I haven't walked very far to find the next shot, and what struck me was these beautiful large mossy boulders lining the side of the road, presumably to stop cars going off the edge and ending up in this quite deep ravine. What I'm thinking pretty much here is, you see this line of boulders going off into the distance, edging the side of the road. We've got a series of trees coming up from this side, my side of the bank. We've got this rather straggly one here, which I'm not overly impressed with, but hey ho, you can only work with what you've got. And you've got this tiny area in front of us of this waterfall, and there's a remnant of COVID down there. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a face mask littering in the pool of water, or just hanging on the edge of a rock there, which in its beautiful NHS blue reminds us of what we've all gone through recently, and that's quite a lot. Personally, I've weathered it, as we all have, but it's affected quite a lot of things. It's stopped a lot of my photography. It's allowed me to get out, but it's not allowed me to get to places I would have liked to. Anyway, the shot I'm going to take is here on the back of the camera. You can see this shot, and I'm focusing on this boulder here, and boulder, and there's a car coming. Thank you. Large amounts of noise, and I'm sort of framing the thirds here with this rock and this larger tree that's in not quite the foreground, it's middle ground, and then we've got this stream coming down the hill in the right here, and I quite like that framing. I can't come further round because, as you can see there, the road comes into the picture, and I'd rather prefer the road not to be in the picture. So I've got the Peak Designs tripod. Two legs are on rocks, the front two, and the back one's on moss, which isn't ideal because it makes everything very spongy, as you can see. But I'm hoping the 2-second timer, I've got a fifth of a second, and I'm focusing on the front edge of this bigger rock in the foreground. With F10 I'll go out to F13, maybe even F16, 14, F14, 0.4 of a second, hope the wind doesn't blow, 2-second timer, and the branches on the tree there are moving. I think they might show in the picture. I might just take one with a wider or a more open aperture. F8, just 1/8 of a second. Let's try that one while the wind's died down. There. Probably tell from the amount of car noise, the road's getting quite busy now. There's a car every few minutes, and previously when I started here there was only that one tractor and that one lorry for probably half to 40 minutes. So I've got to be careful when I do these pieces to camera, but I have reframed that shot, and let me show you what it is I've actually changed in it. What I've changed in the shot is I've actually brought in, if you look down there, there is a little lower reach of the waterfall. So there's first, second, third, and then a fourth section coming in towards the right of the frame. So I've actually got that here. I've got the waterfall starting in the top right. I've got more of the tree in on the left and the rocks surrounding it. And then there's a series of rocks on the right here. And then this little fall down here with the water just coming off to the right. And I think that whole, it's gone off. That whole S shape, or no, it's not quite an S shape, that's more of an S shape, but it sort of curls round and comes round. It's almost like it's a mirror image. The top is a mirror image of the bottom. Clearly not a perfect mirror image, but I think that actually works really well. The water's coming in the right, spinning around the frame, coming down into the left. So 1/6 of a second, I'm going to go to F22. I'm going to focus on the middle ground rocks here, which according to the focus peaking is showing me pretty much all of that shot is in focus. In reality, that's the nearest point, which is down there, is probably about 50 to 60 feet from where I'm standing with the camera. which is part of the advantage of the long lens. It means that I can actually pull more of the frame in, pull it closer. So quarter of a second, f22, minus 0.7, ISO 160. And what is that giving us? Let's have a look. I'll look on the back of the camera. Sorry, it just pointed the camera in a different direction. I'm looking through the viewfinder. Yeah, I think that really is. I don't know if you can see that because of the glare on the back of the camera. That's quite a nice little shot. As I say, that's a nice little shot. I like that. I'm looking round because I'm watching for cars. I'm also very aware that I'm on quite uneven ground and it's spongy, so got to be a bit careful. I think that's a nice shot. I'm pleased with that. I've got probably half an hour longer here, and then I've got to head back to the hotel and get the mandatory full English breakfast, which I'm looking forward to. So we'll catch you a bit later on today when I go to the next location. The whole of today I'm going to concentrate on Borrowdale. I know there's lots of other places, but I'm here for 7 nights-ish, and there are quite a few other places to explore. So the thing I'm going to do is concentrate on probably one place per day and make the most of that one place, rather than trying to flip from place to place. Anyway, let's see how that shot came out. I'll put it up now.